Question 1 to 7. Do the following statements agree with the information given in the reading passage? First, Matthias Gleason is unsure about the possibility of monsters' existence. This statement is false. They don't really exist, but they play a huge role in our mindscapes, in our dreams, stories, nightmares, myths, and so on, says Matthias Gleason, Assistant Professor of Literature and Media at Aarhus University in Denmark, who studies monsters in literature. Second, Kraken is probably based on an imaginary animal. This statement is false. In part F, most likely the Kraken is based on a real creature, the giant squid. It is clearly given that Kraken is based on a real creature, the giant squid. That's why this statement is false. Third, previous attempts on filming the squid had failed due to the fact that the creature was scared. This statement is true. In part J, they realized previous attempt to film squid had failed because the bright lights and noisy thrusters on submarines had frightened them away. The statements agree with the passage. Fourth, giant squid was caught alive in 2004 and brought to the museum. This statement is false. In paragraph L, another giant squid lies peacefully in Natural History Museum in London, in the Spirit Room, where it is preserved in a huge glass case. In 2004, it was caught in a fishing net off the Falkland Islands and died at the surface. It is clearly given that when in 2004 it was caught in a fishing net off the Falkland Islands, it died at the surface. Fifth is not given because the information is not given in the passage. Sixth, according to the question, people can be scared both by imaginary and real monsters. This statement is true. In paragraph N, now we know there is nothing to be afraid of. Can the Kraken finally be laid to rest? Probably not, says Gleason. We humans are afraid of the strangest things. They don't need to be realistic. It is clearly given that humans are afraid of the strangest things. They don't need to be realistic. So, people can be scared both by imaginary and real monsters. Seventh is not given because the information is not given in the passage. Question 8 to 12. Choose the correct letter A, B, C or D. 8th. Who wrote a novel about a giant squid? Its answer is D. Jules. The giant squid continued to dominate stories of sea monsters with the famous 1870 novel 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea by Jules Verne. 9th. What of the featuring body parts molluscs doesn't have? Its answer is D. Smooth suckers. In G, it has 8 lashing arms and 2 slashing tentacles growing straight out of its head, and it's got separated suckers that can latch on the slimmest of prey, and it's got a parrot beak that can rip flesh. It's got an eye the size of your head. It's got a jet propulsion system and 3 hearts that pump blue blood. In paragraph, it is given that molluscs have 2 tentacles, secreted suckers, or a beak, but it doesn't have smooth suckers. 10th, which of the following applies to the bookish kraken? Its answer is B. Scary. In I, the monster needed no embellishment. This creature was scary enough, and Verne incorporated as much fact as possible into the story, says Emily Elder from Edinburgh Napier University. It is clearly given that this creature was scary. So its answer is B. The bookish kraken was scary. 11th. Where can we see a giant squid? Its answer is A. At the museum. In L. Another giant squid lies peacefully in Natural History Museum in London, in the Spirit Room, where it is preserved in a huge glass case. In 2004, it was caught in a fishing net off the Falkland Islands and died at the surface. The crew immediately froze its body and it was sent to be preserved in the museum by curator of molluscs, John Ablett. It is given that the giant squid lies peacefully in a museum, so it can be seen at the museum. 12th, the main purpose of the text is to. The main purpose of the text is to help us to understand more about both mythical and biological creatures of the deep sea. So its answer is A. Question 13 to 16. Complete the sentences below. 13th. According to the Victor Hugo's novel, the squid would dash if he had such opportunity. In I, Victor Hugo's Tales of the Sea both try to represent the giant squid as they might have been actual geological animals, much more taking the squid a biological creature than a mythical creature. It was given that the squid was vicious and would radically attack humans given the chance. It is clearly given that according to the Victor Hugo's novel, the squid would radically attack if he had such opportunity. So its answer is radically attack. 14th. The real squid appears to be dash. In J and K, that myth was not busted until 2012, when Edith Vader and her colleagues were the first people to successfully film giant squid underwater and see firsthand the true character of the monster of the deep. They realized previous attempts to the film squid had failed because the bright light and noisy thrusters on the submarines had frightened them away. By quietening down the engines and using bioluminescence to attract it, they managed to see this most extraordinary animal in its natural habitat. It suddenly glided into view, its body rippled with metallic colors of bronze and silver. Its huge, intelligent eye watched the submarine warily and it delicately picked at the bay with its beak. It was ballistic and mesmeric. The real squid appeared to be ballistic and mesmeric. 15th. Archie must be the dash of its kind on Earth. In L, it is called Archie, an affectionate short version of its Latin name, Architeuthis dux. It is the longest preserved specimen of a giant squid in the world. Archie must be the longest preserved specimen of its kind on Earth. 16th. We are able to encounter the Kraken's dash in a movie franchise. In O, indeed we are. The Kraken made a fearsome appearance in the blockbuster series Pirates of Caribbean. We are able to encounter the Kraken's fearsome appearance in a movie franchise, which is Pirates of Caribbean.